everybody. Welcome to CNBC Special. I'm Adil Shahid and we'll be speaking to Mr. Shankar, who's the member board of Standard Chartered Bank PLC and the CEO for Europe, Middle East, and Africa and the Americas. Hello, sir. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Sir, if you start the conversation with the economic outlook, the global economic outlook, we hear time and again that 2012 was a very important year for the global economy, especially for the economies who are recovering after the recession of 2008. And on the other side, we've seen the credit ratings fall for the UK and the US. How do you forecast for the rest of 2012?
I mean, if it was a film, I would call it a good, bad, ugly.
Okay.
The good being the East. I think you're still going to see very strong growth in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East.
Right.
Europe is going to be ugly for a while. It's not going, it'll take a while to sort out, but you're clearly seeing some early signs of sorting out the problem.
Right.
The infusion of liquidity, their form of quantitative easing. And America, you're seeing some early signs of recovery, but it's too early to call. So clearly the East is continuing to perform very well, and the West probably, as a result of all the debt they took on in the past, will need time to work out. But there are exceptions even within the West. I mean, there are countries like Germany who are doing well.
Right, so you would say that Europe is actually going to be in slight difficulty throughout this year.
That's right.
And if you talk about Standard Chartered Bank as a group, where do you think it stands now after the recession in this entire situation?
Very well. We are very well placed relative to our competitors. During the last financial crisis, we stood behind our clients.
Right.
We in fact expanded. We have expanded throughout this period. And as we indicated in our statement to the market a while ago, we are in line to produce another great year of results. So we are in good shape. We are in very good place with our clients, and we are very strong in the markets, Asia, Africa, the Middle East, that we focus on.
So what is the competitive edge of Standard Chartered? I mean, how does it differ from the other Western banks globally?
Broadly speaking, I would say that we differentiate ourselves because we are very client-centric. We're very client-driven in the way we run our business. If you look at our income, a large proportion, if not almost all of it, comes from client-driven activity, both on the corporate banking as well as the consumer banking side.
Right.
There is very little of own account proprietary trading in our business. Second, as a bank, we have focused on pretty much organic growth.
Right.
We are not a bank that goes and acquires other banks to create growth. And when I say that, I would also refer to the fact that we are a bank which is very much focused on the growth markets of the world.
Right.
Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. And we have been so for almost 150 years. In fact,
right.
I'm here in Pakistan. We came here in 1863, and next year we'll be completing our 150th year.
Right.
Not too many banks can have that sort of record in a country like Pakistan. Also, I would add that we are a very values-driven bank.
Okay.
If you look at our strap line, it says "Here for good."
That's right.
It's about doing the right thing for our clients. It's about being in markets for long periods of time. It's about helping our clients in the long run and doing the right thing by our communities, by our regulators, by the countries that we operate in.
Right.
And and also, finally, I would say that we have a very conservatively managed bank.
Right. And so
if you look at our balance sheet, our loans build up in relation to the deposits.
Right.
Our ratios are well below 80%. It's closer to 75.
Right.
We are very well capitalized. Our tier 1 ratios are 11.9%. Our total capital ratios are in excess of 17%. So we're a very conservatively managed bank from a risk, capital, and liquidity point.
Right. And apart from that, if we talk about your trip to Pakistan as well, because I think it's the first time that you're here in Pakistan.
Delighted to be here.
So how did you find the country so far?
There's a lot of buzz in this place.
Is it?
I like Pakistan. You can't but be excited about the potential of Pakistan. 180 million people, very talented, and lots of natural resources.
And if you talk about the economic and the financial sector of the country, what is your outlook on that? How do you forecast? And how do you look at the economy of Pakistan? Let's just put it that way.
Long term, I am very, very positive on Pakistan. Short term, it is facing some headwinds.
Okay.
Not all of its own making. Clearly, what is happening in the rest of the world will impact Pakistan. And Pakistan has also runs a very high energy bill, and with oil prices being where they are, it does create some stresses and strains. So the issue in terms of a fiscal deficit, the external account deficit, which is cropping up, are some areas that Pakistan needs to watch out. But as I said, 180 million people, lots of potential, and particularly with the potential opening up of trade with the neighboring countries.
That's right.
Is going to be a huge positive for Pakistan.
Well, you mentioned a lot of issues that Pakistan definitely has, and definitely a lot of opportunities are there. But if we talk about the third quarter of 2011 for Standard Chartered, strategic-wise, how would you say that has been for the bank?
In Pakistan?
In Pakistan, if you talk about Pakistan.
Our Pakistan business is doing very well. We have a great CEO here. We have a great team here. And both our corporate banking side and our consumer banking side are winning market share, are winning business from clients. And the biggest proposition that Standard Chartered has to offer to its clients, particularly on the wholesale side, is that we are more global than the local banks, and we are more local than many of the global banks that operate here.
That's right.
We help our clients network with the rest of the world. And as Pakistan, like every other country, globalizes and becomes more of a trading and investment partner with particularly the rest of Asia and the Middle East and Africa, Standard Chartered is exceptionally well placed to support its clients.
And if I talk about priorities, if you talk about the priorities for your bank, what would you say? Would you prioritize first at the moment? Are you targeting more towards the SME sector, or is it going to be the agricultural sector, or is it consumer market? What is the priority at the moment for Pakistan?
It's probably all of the above. Right. On the consumer banking side, our focus would be on SME and wealth. And on the wholesale banking side, it would be on the larger corporates, particularly those that trade with Asia, Africa, and the Middle East.
Right. Okay. And now if we move on to Islamic banking, even I think Standard Chartered relaunched Islamic banking SADC very recently as well. At least some components of it were relaunched. What potential do you see for Islamic banking in Pakistan, and the future of Islamic banking for the country?
If I look at the statistics overall for the market in terms of Islamic banking, right, it's been growing faster than the non-Islamic conventional banking. Mm-hmm. And our own Islamic banking business is growing much faster than our conventional banking. There is clearly a trend where people who traditionally took the conventional banking route are beginning to choose the Islamic banking route.
Right.
And it is not just a phenomenon in Pakistan, it's also a phenomenon in markets like Malaysia. It's already a big market in many parts of the Middle East. So Standard Chartered understands the Islamic banking market, and we offer tons of different products and services to cater to that segment. In fact, we are winning market share and doing pretty well, and we are investing into it.
Right. And would you like to shed some light on some efforts that Standard Chartered has recently made on their Islamic banking side? Anything on that?
Lots of new branches specifically dedicated to Islamic banking in Pakistan, as well as hiring lots of talent. Right. But remember that it is not just about investment in Islamic banking is something that Standard Chartered is focused on globally. It is not just about investing in Pakistan, it's also about the investments we have made in other markets, whether it's in Malaysia or Dubai or elsewhere. Right. Because it's by bringing the product expertise and cross-pollinating the knowledge that we would make our Islamic banking proposition in Pakistan an even better one. That's right. Than would otherwise be the case.
Mr. Shankar, we'll just take a short break here, and after the break, we'll continue a conversation from here. We're talking to Mr. Shankar, Member of Board, Standard Chartered PLC, and CEO of Europe, Middle East, Africa, and the Americas. We'll continue a conversation from here. Keep watching CNBC Special.